Listen, man, in a previous video, I found out that the Celtics actually was supposed to get Chris Paul for Rondo. Now let's talk about their beef, man. I'm hurt already. I'm hurt already, man.
In October of 2018, the Lakers and Rockets had a little confrontation. It settled down, then suddenly reignited into something way bigger.
Oh my God,
That's
Mink.
because these two guys got involved. Chris Paul and Rajon Rondo. Their part in this fight was a long time coming.
I hate this image. Get that shit out of here, bro.
Chris Paul and
could've
Rajon
been,
Rondo
man?
are great examples of how much the team that drafts you affects the course of your career. In 2005, Paul was drafted 4th out of Wake Forest by a terrible New Orleans Hornets team. This would be the same year the Hornets began hunkering down in Oklahoma while their home city recovered from Hurricane Katrina. The team improved around their Rookie of the Year point guard, but not enough to make the playoffs. So in the summer of '06, the Hornets made moves, signing sharpshooter Peja Stojakovic, then trading for big man Tyson Chandler. But injuries hampered them, and they still couldn't crack the postseason. The 07-08 season would be the Hornets' breakthrough. They returned to New Orleans. Paul and power forward David West became first-time All-Stars. Byron Scott won Coach of the Year. New Orleans won a franchise record 56 games, made the playoffs, and destroyed Dirk Nowitzki's Mavericks in the first round.
Damn.
In the next round, the Hornets came out strong against the defending champion Spurs, but after leading the series 2-0 and 3-2, lost the round in a heartbreaking Game 7 defeat. The Spurs
took them to
advanced to the
7?
conference finals.
Now, that's
where they
kinda
fell to the
crazy.
Lakers, who
That's
then
kinda
went on
crazy,
to the
bro.
NBA finals and lost to a Boston Celtics team with a kid named Rajon Rondo at point guard.
Yes, sir.
Rondo, like Paul, was a young rising star at his position.
Hey, Sage, you know what my favorite move was growing up, bro? The
Oh
the
God.
drive to the rim, layup. You know what I'm saying?
Why did motherfuckers fall for that, bro? I hate
That
every
was
time that
crazy.
shit worked. Every time that shit worked, I'd be like, here we go, bro. Like, God damn, bro. Stop falling for it, bro. He never, once Rondo goes like this, he's not passing, bro. He never passed it once. What are you gonna do? Go like this and twist his arm?
He don't watch Rondo for real, bro. He know
Man.
the real know the passes he can make. The real know the pick and pops with KG. But it's all right, bro. It's all right.
Pick and pop with a Rondo jumper.
Yeah, for some reason they did actually double team him a lot. I think they were like crazy afraid of his drive, but then motherfuckers just figured out, yo, Rondo actually isn't that good at driving too.
Unlike Paul, Rondo had entered the league a relatively unheralded prospect. A mediocre Celtics team acquired him on draft night '06 after he was picked 21st out of Kentucky.
Why you pose
While
like
Rondo played his way into the starting lineup his rookie season, Celtics star Paul Pierce missed a bunch of games due to injury. Boston stayed quite bad, winning just
Will I
24
ever win a
games.
championship?
But while Chris Paul's Hornets had made some nice moves, Rondo's Celtics got a makeover of historic magnitude. They traded their lottery pick for Ray Allen, made an even bigger trade for Kevin Garnett a few days later, then made the greatest turnaround in NBA history, finishing with 66 wins just a year after
Those are
winning
crazy
24.
all-in moves.
And then they won it all. Rondo went from promising rookie on a garbage team to starting point guard on a champion. That's pretty wild. So now we're in the summer of '08, which is an important juncture because according to more recent accounts, that's when the beef began. After that
Really?
2018
The summer
Rockets
of
Lakers
08?
fight, some reporters pointed back to the 2008 Olympics, where Paul led the USA to a
is
gold
random.
medal, while Rondo supposedly didn't make it past tryouts. Reports from the time say Rondo was invited to the select team, the younger players who scrimmage against Team USA before competition. Rondo and fellow Celtics youngster Kendrick Perkins understandably declined the invitation after playing NBA games well into June. And Rondo would never have made an Olympic roster that ended up featuring Paul, Jason Kidd, and Darren Williams.
Dick suck.
But it is
Dick suck.
possible he was annoyed
W.
to have been
Darren?
left off the list of over 30 finalists, which dropped days before the Celtics won their championship and included point guards like Luke Ridnour and Kirk Heinrich. I don't know why Rondo would hold that against Paul in particular. He
Yeah,
may
that's
have noticed that
hella
Paul got a
weird.
big contract extension that July, but
damn it,
like
Chris.
so did Darren Williams. Guys drafted in '05 were due for new deals, nothing special there. And there had been no visible beef in meetings up to this point either. Rondo made his NBA debut in an uneventful loss against Paul and the Hornets. He got his first win against Paul in March of that championship season, and Paul actually went out of his way to praise his slightly younger opponent. So did beef
It always
exist in
starts with a
08?
praise.
It's possible, but it might be one of those things where NBA insiders know more than we do. Either way, Rondo was eager to prove critics wrong and claimed to have done so by winning a ring in '08. None of those other young point guards had done the same. And while Boston once again cracked 60 wins, the Hornets regressed in 2009.
I got a ring.
Paul was healthy and effective.
Draymond like I'm a
just
champ,
4 games
bitch.
because of a groin strain, returning right in time to lose to the Celtics again. But injuries assured New Orleans wouldn't come anywhere near the prior season's playoff run. Paul was considered by most the best point guard in the NBA, but this 4th season backslide began a long chapter of playoff disappointment in his career. And guess who predicted all that disappointment right to Paul's face? Rondo, obviously. The Hornets and Celtics met in November of 2009.
Nah, I need
and
to
things
hear
went
this.
pretty typically.
This
Paul
might get
played
crazy.
great despite some physical defense from Rondo, but Boston got the win yet again. The pair also picked up technicals for wrestling a little bit, and whatever tension built during the game snapped afterward. The typical round of post-game handshakes got heated when Rondo confronted Paul on the floor. The two had to be separated, and we later found out why. Rondo had trash-talked with Paul by saying, and this is a direct quote, "I've got a ring, and you're never gonna win one."
Yes, sir! Fuck you, CP3. You see the ring? You see the ring? Yes, sir. Still don't have one, pussy.
And this is why in these all-time debates, well, I've retired them for the most part, okay? Because you'll have a motherfucker like Rondo talk about his one ring on his pinky versus a motherfucker like Chris Paul.
2, Sage, 2.
Oh, yeah.
One for the plug and one for the hose. Come on, bro.
But was he even a number 2 on either team? Nope.
Chris Paul doesn't have a ring. He doesn't have a ring.
Because he's had to be a number 1. He don't know what it's Rondo.
In
Don't know what it's
2021?
like
In
to
2021?
better fucking people. Devin.
Yeah, all right, bro.
But
Yeah, all right.
either way, bro, now Chris Paul is finally able to be a number 2. Let Chris Paul be a number 4, dog. Come to the Lakers. Be a number 4 for us, man, and then we'll have these conversations, man. This is Mickey, bro.
Which, I'm talking to you over 9 years later, and that statement
Was
remains
right.
true to the word.
Yes,
Paul
sir.
didn't
Talk
even
to the
reach a
ring,
conference
pussy.
final until his 13th season. But anyway, Paul didn't like that comment and stewed for a while. Some reports said he bickered with Boston assistant Tom Thibodeau and tried to enter the Celtics locker room, though Paul later denied all of that. Inside that locker room, Celtics PR demanded Rondo never be asked about Paul, ever. This exchange epitomized the theme of this beef. Rondo had a ring, and he was days away from agreeing to a big extension of his own. But he still wasn't considered on Paul's level, and some judged his individual success
Don't worry,
as
Rondo.
very much a
I
product
did.
of the
Cook,
environment
I
around
did.
him.
I didn't.
I did.
Paul himself wouldn't praise Rondo without that slight qualifier. And people around the league, both media and Rondo's own coach, dismissed the comparison. But Paul's individual superiority kept getting rubbed in. While the Celtics were visiting New Orleans later that season, Paul was out with a knee injury, but the Hornets trotted him out pregame to announce he'd been selected for Team USA again. Paul didn't end up joining that 2010 FIBA championship roster, yet even without Paul ahead of him, Rondo couldn't make it. He was invited to training camp in Athens, but saw limited playing
cool,
time
bro.
in
It's
exhibitions.
cool. It is
guessed
what it is,
where
man.
things
Nah.
were headed, and withdrew from the team
mid.
before
You're
they could
mid.
cut him. And that was it for Rondo's Team USA career. The 2012 Olympics happened smack in the middle of his prime, but
Quit.
he had no more interest in trying to make the cut again among higher.
You don't need to.
regarded
You
point
know.
guards.
You don't need to, big bro.
Anyway.
He think he like Aaron. He think he like Aaron Gordon.
Rondo's prime.
Fuck no.
In 2011, Rondo became an All-Star for the first time.
You ain't never made
But
team.
his Celtics had been treading water. After winning that championship in Rondo's second season, they had made the finals only once, falling in 7 to the vengeful Lakers. Boston wanted another title before the window closed on their...
Yo, I just want to say, bro, in hindsight, congratulations to them, but fuck the '09 Magic, bro. Fuck the '09 Magic. Number one, we missed out on Kobe versus Bron
Yeah.
because of your bitch ass. Number one. And then number 2, we could have at least got a rematch of last year.
Yeah.
At least. But not Dwight Howard versus Kobe. All right, bro. And it was like a 5-game series.
Yeah, I'm about to say, and all respect to Dwight, too. I know y'all gonna look at Kobe's stats and say, nah, that was chump change. All we did was dare Dwight to step out. It was like, oh, you coming? All right, pow. oh, you not stepping out? Kobe. It was chump change. I ain't gonna lie, that was cheddar.
Big 3. And with LeBron James fronting an even stronger big three in Miami, it was clear the existing roster couldn't get
Shane
it done.
Batty.
On top of that, there was some internal strife. Rondo and backcourt mate Ray Allen weren't getting along, and Rondo sometimes bristled at the demands of Celtics coach Doc Rivers. So, in November 2011, with the NBA lockout about to end, Celtics GM Danny Ainge got on the phone to discuss trading Rondo for Chris Paul. Several versions of the trade were discussed, and the rumors reached full-on Woj tweet status. It once again became a thing to compare the two players, and you even had people like Shaq, who'd briefly been a Celtic before retiring, arguing that Rondo was the better point guard, citing as evidence the greater success his team had achieved.
Thanks, twin.
Ultimately, the trade fell through. Word at the time was that Paul wasn't willing to commit to Boston long-term. But according to Ray Allen's 2018 autobiography, Coach Rivers vetoed the trade because he couldn't do that to his old friend, Hornets coach Monty Williams. I think the implication here is that Rondo
Fuck Monty Williams. What the fuck?
I can't hold you like that, bruh. I can't keep Rondo, bruh. Like, you can have Chris Paul, bro. You about to get work, bro. I ain't gonna do that to you, little bro. I ain't gonna do that to you, fool. Like, you my dog. Man, look out for you.
This shit is so lame because there's a lot of accounts of saying the only reason KG went to the fucking Celtics was because of Kevin McHale and Danny Ainge's fucking relationship. So the only reason you have a ring, Doc Rivers, is because of the same reason. Oh my god, I hate Doc Rivers, bro. I hate Doc Rivers.
He had the whole world in his hands. He had the whole wide world.
Oh my god,
in
bro.
his damn
I'm
Doc.
sick. I'm sick.
Doc.
personality might be tough for a coach to manage, which does seem to be the case, but Ray Allen might be a slightly biased source here.
That's
After a big mess, Paul got dealt to the Clippers. The first time Rondo visited CP3 in his new home, the two exchanged a polite handshake with nary a sign of beef. And the feud kinda settled for a while. Injuries ended Rondo's time as an all-star, as did the gradual dismantling of the once champion Celtics.
Tough.
One noteworthy part of that dismantling came in summer 2013, when Doc Rivers left Boston and took a job coaching Chris Paul and the Clippers.
God.
Rivers, who had been a point guard in his playing days, was as tough on Paul as he'd been.
Fuck Doc Rivers, bro.
That is
Fuck
so
Doc
crazy.
Rivers.
That got you paused because that just hit me. Then he went with Chris Paul. I want y'all to slow down. Rewind the video if you need to, bro. We just talked about how he ain't want to work Monty and hold him in a trade. And he said, you keep Chris Paul. Chris Paul gets dealt. He's like, he ain't on Monty team no more. Let me just... I got hype, bro.
I'm so sick, bro. I am so sick. Oh, God.
Rondo, which raised comparisons again. Rivers was also the Clippers' senior VP of basketball ops for a while and brought in
Ain't got
several
promotion.
former
That's why y'all
Celtics
never
to
fucking won.
complement his
That's
core
why y'all
of
never
Paul,
fucking
Blake
won.
Griffin, and DeAndre Jordan, which will be relevant later. In December 2014, Boston finished their demolition of the 08 championship team by dealing Rondo to the Dallas Mavericks. That began a chapter of Rondo's career spent bouncing from team to team, battling coaches along the way. In 2017, days after Paul got traded to the Rockets, Rondo signed with Paul's old team in New Orleans, now called the Pelicans. This stint brought the beef back into focus a bit. First of all, Rondo was joining forces with his good friend DeMarcus Cousins, who has his own beef with Paul. Second of all, Rondo broke Paul's single-game franchise assist record, which is kind of fun. And third of all, they actually beefed a little bit in a game Rondo didn't even play. Rondo was out for rest when the Rockets visited New Orleans on March 17, 2018, but managed to pick up a technical from the bench by getting into a verbal argument with Paul.
This is
So
crazy.
that was a hint the feud still lived, but as of October 20th
That's so
of
crazy,
that
bro.
year,
That's-
we didn't
he
need
gon-
any more hints.
All right,
Rondo and
Itachi.
Paul had been battling all night, and when things got heated, they gravitated
time.
toward one another. Then they argued, and Rondo maybe spit at Paul a little bit. Then Paul poked Rondo in the face, and then they punched each other a little and got suspended.
Right.
A lot of attention was spent zaprootering the footage to determine whether or not Rondo spit and whether it was on purpose.
It clearly looked like Rondo spit in his face.
Yeah.
Elsewhere,
I
people
ain't gonna
reported
lie.
had a
You
reported
spat on that
confrontation
nigga, bro.
between a Rondo family member and Jada Paul, Chris's wife. But for our purposes, the most interesting fallout came from something Rondo said after the fight. Quote, Everyone wants to believe Chris Paul is a good guy. They don't know he's a horrible teammate. They don't know how he treats people. To be clear before we dig in here,
I will say, bro, I'm not gonna lie, Chris Paul for the most part has like this picture perfect image, but I swear to God, just shit comes out. You know what I'm saying? Just shit comes out here and there that alludes to the fact that Chris Paul is not Mr. Nice Guy, and he's actually like way more problematic than what meets the eye. I don't know what it is, but I just get those vibes from Chris Paul. That like a section of NBA players like truly do not like him at all. I don't know if it has anything to do with his NBPA stuff, but I don't know. I just get that vibe.
Hey man, you trying to say my boy's like a hidden Akatsuki or some shit? You got a mask on or something? Like what you like, man, like a good neighbor, bro. What are we doing? That's Chris Paul. That's Cliff. Come on, man. That's a great guy. He's a great guy.
Rondo has a reputation for being abrasive and at times outright abusive. But I don't know where he gets the idea that Paul is considered an angel. Paul's own falling out with Doc Rivers was widely reported, and he's got well-known beefs and ugly incidents in his past, too.
That too, motherfuckers call him like a dirty
Rondo's
player.
comment about Paul immediately invited analysis from people who know both players, which, because Doc was running the Clippers for a while, is a lot of people. Jeff Green and Pierce just said the fight was a long time coming.
The confrontation I did see coming. I knew it was a matter of time.
I'm surprised that this is their first fight, actually.
Others actually offered judgment. Big Baby Davis said he'd played with both, and Paul was indeed a bad teammate. Ryan Hollins said that Paul, his former Clippers teammate, had some growing to do, and went on to say Rondo was one of his favorite teammates ever, which is a little funny because he only played 15 games in Boston. Like, Hollins definitely did the same Getty Images search that I did, and that one photo is the only evidence that those two were ever. Rockets GM Daryl Morey doesn't really count here because he left the Celtics front office right before they drafted Rondo, but he chimed in to suggest Rondo calling Paul a bad teammate was the pot calling the kettle black. Or he was just tweeting some nice artwork for funsies, also possible. Doc Rivers, who might be the authority on the matter, didn't issue a ruling on who's the worst teammate, but did reflect on the decade of confrontation, and wonder aloud how it all started. Is it really just that Rondo coveted Paul's status as the best point guard? I don't know, Doc. It certainly adds up. Rondo was excellent at his peak, but never quite at Paul's level, at least not according to anyone but Shaq. But it took Rondo just 2 years to collect the ring Paul's chased for over a decade. Individual accolades for one and team glory for the other could generate enough mutual envy to fuel a beef. Of course, fuel needs ignition, so is there an incident somewhere in the past that we don't know about? Or is it simply that both these guys are prone to acting like jerks? The Paul-Rondo beef is a mysterious one, but everyone agrees. It is old, it is real, and it is alive.
Yeah, I think the beef ultimately boils down to a player who was viewed as the better player, even though the other player was winning and doing all the shit that the other player could never do and still, honestly, hasn't done. Also, like I alluded to earlier, there's this image that Chris Paul is this goody two-shoes guy. He's all perfect and shit. Meanwhile, Rondo, for the last, 7 to 8 years, has been viewed as the problematic teammate, the locker room cancer, and things of that nature. I ain't gonna lie, Chris Paul didn't really do anything. I ain't gonna lie.
I was going to fuck you with that. I thought you was going to say Team Rondo. I was going to be like, I'm honestly Team Nobody.
Whoa, don't get it twisted.
Oh, my
It's still Team Rondo over here, man. It's still Team Rondo over here. He didn't get the love that he deserved in his prime. Not to say that he didn't get love. He just didn't get the love that he deserved. You see what I'm saying? Harden fans.
What? What did you say?
Not this guy. Not this guy. No. He got love, but not the love that he deserved. Okay? Man. That's all that it is, man.
It's not L beef. It's a W beef, but horrible reasoning. It's just competitive. They were just trying to be the best guy in the world at their position. Paul definitely hit that. Rondo never quite hit it. I don't know what underlying things, even after this video, made it really flare up, but it did. We got some good TV. Gun to my head, I'm Team Paul, but I'm really Team Nobody. It was just kind of like, damn, motherfuckers just didn't like each other. Sometimes that's how it is. Like, Chad, if I ever see one of y'all in person, bro, I might just walk past you and just look at you like this. Why? Because it's your fucking face. I just might not like you. And I think that's just the situation with these two. They just don't like each other. Humans ain't gotta like everybody. They just don't like each other.
That's fine. That's fine. Shout out Rondo, man. 2 rings, 2 times.
Shout out Chris Paul, top 75.
Rondo's better than 2K2, but we'll catch you on the next one, man. Peace.
Peace.